whoa, just look at this number, 18%. That means almost 1 in 5 Americans is paying over $1,000 a month for their car. Just let that sink in for a second. $1,000. That's a huge chunk of a paycheck. And for a lot of people, it's just to get to a job they'd rather not be out in the first place. You can see how that becomes this trap, this cycle of debt that's really, really hard to break. And here's the really scary part. This is the silent killer of your wealth. You're so focused on just making that monthly payment that you don't see what's happening behind the scenes. This debt is literally quietly repoing your retirement. But, and this is a big but, there is a way to fight back. I'm going to show you a super simple formula. It's called the 24-10 rule, and it's designed to make sure your car is just a tool that serves you, not the other way around, not a master of your financial life. All right, first up, the $1,000 payment program. And look, we're not just talking about a few people making bad choices here. We are in the middle of what you could honestly call a crisis of car poverty. This is a huge, widespread problem, and it's affecting millions of folks who feel like they're completely trapped. Okay, so check this out. The average new car payment has now hit $745 a month. Now, for someone making the median income in the US, that one payment, just the car payment, is almost 15% of their entire paycheck before taxes. That is a massive slice of your hard-earned money, all for something that just sits in your driveway most of the time. Seriously, do this with me for a second. Pull out your phone, open your banking app. I'm not kidding. Is your car payment more than what you spend on groceries for the month? If the answer is yes, well, this slide right here says everything you need to know. That thing you're driving isn't just a car. It's a financial anchor, and it's dragging your whole life down with it. And this is the key thing to understand, right? We treat these huge car payments like they're just another bill, like rent or taxes, something we have to pay. But they're not. They are 100% a choice you're making to put off your financial freedom. And the second you realize that, that's when you can start to take back control. So you might be asking, how do we even get into this mess? Well, it usually starts the minute you walk into a dealership. They are absolute masters of the monthly payment game. They don't ask what the car costs. They ask, so what are you looking to pay per month? And just like that, they've got you focused on the small number, distracting you from the fact that you might end up paying like 80 grand for a $50,000 truck over the next 7 or 8 years. It's a trap. And oh boy, this chart right here shows you the brutal, unavoidable math. An average new car loses about 60% of its value in just the first 5 years. Just look at this. You drive off the lot at 100%, and by the time you hit year 5, bam, it's only worth 40% of what you paid for it. It is a guaranteed way to lose money. And this really gets to a huge difference in how people think about money. The wealthy, they buy assets, things that go up in value. But when you take out a loan for a car that's losing value every single day, you're doing the complete opposite. Think about it. You're literally paying interest to become poorer. You're financing a wealth-draining machine. But listen, it does not have to be this way. Not at all. Today, we're going to use that 24-10 rule to completely flip the script. The goal here is to get you into a reliable car that doesn't suck your bank account dry, so you have the money to actually build the life those car commercials are always trying to sell you. All right, let's get to the good stuff, the solution. If you want to stay out of this trap for good, you need a system, a simple set of rules, and that's what this is. The 24-10 rule is your blueprint, your financial shield against car poverty. It's super simple, but trust me, it is incredibly powerful. So let's break it down. Number 1, the 20 stands for a 20% down payment. This is non-negotiable. It keeps you from being underwater, owing more than the car is worth from day one. Number 2, the 4 is for a 4-year loan max. That's 48 months. The rule of thumb here is dead simple. If you can't pay the car off in 4 years, you can't afford the car, period. And finally, number 3, the 10, your total car costs, and I mean everything, payment, insurance, gas, all of it has to be less than 10% of your gross monthly income. That's your income before taxes. And I really want you to hear me on this. This is not about restriction. It's not me telling you you can't have nice things. It is the exact opposite. This is about protection. These rules are a shield. They're here to protect your future, your freedom from the absolute soul-crushing weight of car debt. This is where so many people get it wrong. It's all about the psychology of getting approved for a loan. And once you understand this, you'll never fall for the trap again. So picture this. You're at the dealership and the finance manager comes back and says, great news. You've been approved for $60,000. And for a second, you feel this rush, right? You feel successful. You think, wow, they must think I'm doing really well. Let me just stop you right there. No, that is absolutely not what is happening. The bank didn't approve you because they're impressed with you. They approved you because they plugged your info into a spreadsheet and it spit out a number. It told them that over the next, say, 7 years, they can safely extract a ton of profit from you. They calculated that they stand to make something like $20,000 in pure interest off of your loan. You're not a success story to them. You're a profit center. So, if you remember one thing from this whole section, make it this. A bank's approval is not a compliment. It is a harvest notification. All it means is that they've identified you as a reliable crop, ready to be harvested for profit over the next few years. So I want to start with a question, and it's a big one. Could that car payment you have, the one that feels totally normal, totally manageable, could it actually be a mistake that costs you nearly $500,000? For a lot of people, the answer is, believe it or not, yes. Okay, just look at this number, $440,000. This isn't some crazy made-up figure. This is the real potential future wealth that you could be giving up just for a slightly newer or fancier car. So over the next few minutes, we're going to break down exactly how this happens and, more importantly, how you can avoid it. So let's get into part one, the $400,000 mistake. The whole idea here is something called opportunity cost. And this visual, it really says it all, doesn't it? You're at a fork in the road. On one side, you got this shiny new SUV, and on the other, a huge mountain of gold literally labeled your future. When you see it like this, the tree seems pretty obvious, right? So what's the big idea here? It's opportunity cost. It's basically the hidden price tag on any decision you make. So when you choose to spend, say, an extra $300 a month for that status SUV over a perfectly good, reliable used car, you're not just losing $300. No, you're losing everything that $300 could have become if you just invested it instead. So you're probably wondering, how on earth do you get to a number that big? Well, it's not magic. It's the incredible power of compounding. Think about it. If you invest that $300 difference every single month into a basic S&P 500 index fund, which historically averages about an 8% return, well, over 30 years, that tiny monthly choice just explodes into nearly $500,000. That is the power of time you are trading away. When you really boil it down, this is the trade-off. It's that simple. You are literally trading a retirement worth hundreds of thousands of dollars for what? Heated seats and a backup camera? You're picking a little bit of short-term comfort over massive long-term financial security. Okay, but it actually gets worse. Let's move on to part two and see how this problem snowballs into something even bigger, the negative equity trap. And we're calling long-term car loans financial quicksand for a very good reason. Just look at what's happening to Sarah here. That 7-year loan is the quicksand. It's sucking her down. And the car itself, the asset she's paying for, is actually what's trapping her. So what is this trap? You've probably heard people talk about being upside down on a loan. Well, this is exactly what they mean. See, cars depreciate like crazy. They lose about 23% of their value in the very first year. So when you combine that nosedive in value with a long 6 or 7 year loan, you can spend years, literally years, owing the bank way more than your car is actually worth. Let's look at Sarah's situation. It's really rough. She owes the bank 28 grand, but if she tried to sell the car today, she'd only get about 22 for it. That leaves her with a $6,000 gap, a $6,000 problem. She can't sell it unless she comes up with 6 grand in cash, and she can't trade it in without just rolling that debt into a new, even bigger loan. She's completely financially trapped. The takeaway here is simple. Don't be Sarah. All right, enough of the scary stuff. We've talked about the problems. Now let's talk about the solution. Welcome to part 3, the beater superpower. This is all about a massive mindset shift. In this picture here, it tells the whole story. On one side, you got a guy who's stressed out, polishing his fancy sports car, paying for what we call status value. But on the other side, you've got a relaxed Frank with his boring old sedan, just watching cash pour into his piggy bank because he's focused on transportation value. So let's really look at this. What are you actually paying for? Are you paying for that new car smell in the hope of maybe impressing a stranger at a stoplight? Or are you paying for reliable transportation and financial freedom? The wealthy get this. They understand that new cars are wealth destroyers. The real superpower is owning a solid 5-year-old car. Like a clean Honda or Toyota outright. No payments. That means you get your cash flow back and you take back control of your financial destiny. And here's the mental trick you got to play on yourself. We buy so many things based on what we think other people are going to think about us. But here's the truth. Nobody cares about your car as much as you do. The moment you free yourself from that social pressure is the moment you can start making a much, much smarter financial choice. Okay, on to our fourth section, your car's invisible invoice. Here's why. Your monthly payment is a lie. It's just one part of the story. Frank here, he thinks he knows what his car costs. He's happy with his little $500 car payment receipt, but he has no idea about the giant shadow monster lurking behind him, holding the real invoice, the one with insurance and fuel and surprise repairs. All right, stop what you're doing. Seriously, I want you to do this right now. Grab your phone and open a calculator. First, type in your monthly car payment. Got it? Okay, now let's add the invisible stuff. Add about $150 for insurance and let's say $250 for fuel, and be honest with yourself on that one. Now, hit equals. Look at that total. That right there is your real monthly cost of transportation. So, now that you're looking at that new, much bigger number, how does it feel? Does it still feel as comfortable and manageable as just the payment did? For a lot of people, seeing that true all-in cost for the first time is a massive wake-up call. There's actually a name for this. It's called being car poor. And the definition is pretty simple. If that total number you just calculated eats up 20% or more of what you take home each month, then you are officially car poor. It means your vehicle is actively stopping you from building any real wealth. And that brings us to the final and honestly the most important part, how to start the wealth cycle. This is where you flip the script. This little cartoon here shows the whole journey perfectly. At first, you see Frank just feeding money into his car. It's a liability. But then, the magic moment, it gets paid off, and he immediately starts redirecting that same money into a brokerage account. In the last panel, he's chilling, relaxing, because his investments are soaring. So what's the number one habit? It's so simple, but it changes everything. Once the car is paid off, you keep making that payment, but you make it to yourself. You're already used to that money leaving your bank account every month, right? So don't just let it get sucked back into your regular spending. Automate it. Set up a transfer for that exact same amount and send it straight to your investment account every single month. I want you to think about it this way. You're not just saving money. That's too passive. You are actively every single month purchasing your own freedom. You are buying back your future, your time, and your choices. In the end, building wealth isn't really about deprivation. It's about priorities. The entire financial snowball starts rolling with one simple decision. You decide that your future net worth is way more important than a temporary shiny hood ornament. So the real question is, what are you going to choose?